everybody? It's Aaron, Robert, for Get Your Geek On.
Woo!
We're doing another review this week of M.O.D.O.K.
M.O.D.O.K, the new Hulu show.
Yes.
That released, I think, here in the States we got all the episodes, but in other regions they're going week to week. So this is going to be spoiler where we're talking about the entire season. So if you have not had a chance to watch it all, I don't know how heavy we're going to get into the spoilers because there's not a ton, but we'll start it off kind of light spoilers and just kind of talk a little bit about the show. So this is stop motion animated, and it's 10 episodes, I think.
10 episodes, yep.
Patton Oswalt is the kind of the main guy. So if you are familiar with his work, he's a very funny comedian and has
was
been
in S.H.I.E.L.D., wasn't he?
He was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., yes. Yep. He was also, he's kind of famous for his rant on Parks and Rec.
Yep.
Where he was talking about combining, I think, the MCU and Star Wars. So anyways, very funny guy. This show is a comedy, first and foremost, I would say. Now, before we get into the actual components of the show, I was incredibly unfamiliar with M.O.D.O.K. Like, I had heard the name, I knew he was a villain. I think I sort of knew the acronym. Like, I knew that the last three were designed only for killing, but I didn't know. I was like, I could never remember. What is the first two? So, mental organism designed only for killing. So I didn't know that much about M.O.D.O.K, and so I'm not going to come at this as is this a fair representation of that character from the comics? What about you?
I know a little bit about M.O.D.O.K from reading the comics, but my thing was, I already knew this was a comedy. I knew this wasn't going to be like a serious, this is what M.O.D.O.K is, and we're going to give you this whole story for him. And so I was okay with that, knowing that, don't expect anything except funny, maybe comedy. And then at one point I see Seth Green's name. And I was like, okay, this is Seth Green's behind this too. Yeah, I mean, this is out of the vein of something like Robot Chicken or even Family Guy to a certain extent. Like, it's that similar type of comedy, just set in the superhero world around a supervillain in M.O.D.O.K. And I would say if you are interested in finding out, do you want to watch this show or not, the easiest thing to do is look up some trailers. Because they are a representation of what this show is. It really was.
And so if you watch the trailer and you laugh a few times, you're probably going to laugh at the show. Yeah. If you watch the trailer and go, wow, that seems really dumb, you're probably going to think the show is dumb. Because, again, those trailers were a pretty fair representation, I thought.
They were. And like you said, if you like Robot Chicken, if you like Family Guy, you'll probably like this one too. Especially if you like the stop motion, which is what Robot Chicken is. Which Seth Green is the executive producer for that one and creator. So you'll like it for that. But yes, the humor's, the humor's like that.
The humor is that.
Yeah.
And so that has never necessarily been, I think, either of ours favorite type of comedy. Maybe when I was a little bit younger, I enjoyed it a little bit more. I feel like I've kind of aged past some of the comedy.
And I'll agree with you because, Family Guy's been around for 12 years?
Oh, no, much longer than that. Yeah, I want to say it's been at least 15.
Yeah, so I was in my 20s at that point. Yeah. Maybe even younger because I can't remember when it came out.
Yeah, I think I didn't get into it until my late teens, early 20s, but it had been around for a few years by that point.
Yeah, so it's something about that, and it's it was funny back then, ha ha ha. I watch it now, and I think it's so dumb. I'm like, this is just ridiculous.
Or cringy.
Yes.
Especially the early Family Guy. M.O.D.O.K, I didn't feel like there weren't a whole lot of moments where I cringed.
No, not really.
It was more just there were a lot of situations that I didn't find funny that were clearly meant to be comical. Yeah. And so when you're watching a comedy and you're not laughing, it tends to be even worse in your eyes just because you're going, well, I know this is supposed to make me laugh and it's not making me laugh. And therefore you're going, I'm going to judge this even harsher. So I tried not to do that. I'm trying to judge it for what it is. So overall, I think this 10 episodes, let's tackle it from kind of just a character standpoint.
Okay.
Were there any characters in it that you really thought, you enjoyed watching when they had a scene or anything like that?
Honestly, I know he was the running gag for all of it, was Gary.
Yeah.
I liked Gary.
Yeah, Gary.
Now the ending, the way they made him, I was like, okay. Like I didn't think I necessarily needed that part.
Right.
But the whole other time, like when you first meet him, I thought this coffee was for everybody, and he loses his arm.
Right.
I'm like, poor Gary. Like the whole time too, they just mess with him.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that character. Otherwise, the only other one that was okay, I think, was the guy who played Sonic, the little boy, his son.
Okay.
Which is the Sonic the Hedgehog voice actor.
Okay.
I just can't think of his name off the top of my head.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either. I started listening to it. I was like, that's him. That's so him.
I liked both of the kids.
You liked both of them? Okay.
Yeah, I liked both the son and the daughter. I thought I enjoyed what they were bringing to the show. M.O.D.O.K was hit or miss. He really was. I liked Monica again in parts. Yeah. But I really did not like where the show took what happened with her. Mm-hmm. By the end, I was really kind of like, what the heck is this? So that was part of my least favorite portion. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, I thought, it was a funny kind of skewering of Iron Man. Yeah. That was, I enjoyed that.
That was funny. Like the complete douchebag, that's it, like no matter what. Yeah. And seeing, kind of like going with how you said with Monica, and I think it's something that we talked about in WandaVision, they gave us something and never followed through with it. The whole, because there is some time travel. Yeah. They go back in time. Yeah. They screw up her science experiment for was it the orange that keeps growing?
Right, yeah, whatever it was, yeah.
And then she gets a twitch because they screwed up and she blames them.
Basically turns her evil.
Yeah. But you're telling me she doesn't remember them 30 years later?
M.O.D.O.K, the most memorable thing in the history of... It's a giant metal head box thing. Yeah, you would definitely remember.
So that kind of bothered me because he never followed up. Because then everybody else is like, she's dreaming of working with him every other time. And I'm like... Right. I don't get it. I mean, unless you go with the timeline was messed up, and then it's like this whole that become convoluted for real quick. Yeah. Just to get another villain.
I think according to the show's rules, all of that stuff was erased.
So she wouldn't remember.
They didn't mess up her science project because they weren't there anymore. Yeah. They got erased.
Because then you get...
So then you don't know why she ended up turning evil. Yeah. It's like they gave us a reason for her turning evil, but then the show tells you that it got erased. Yeah. And so then we don't actually know why, which is fine. I don't need a reason why she's evil, but it's kind of weird to introduce it and then
take it away.
Immediately say that's not what happened.
Yeah, and I was confused on that. I'm like, okay. And then I remember Anomaly came out, who is the young version of M.O.D.O.K, who got erased from that same timeline, but was able to live because of the gems in his head. Right. So then he's like, yeah, it's all gone. And that's what I was like, oh, that's true, I guess. But then, yeah, like you said, you set it up and then you took it away right afterwards. Yeah. But just so you can set up this character, it felt like. And that was it, which... I don't know. I was confused with that.
I was very let down by... and I know that the show was about M.O.D.O.K's drama with his family. It's a family drama at the end of the day. Yeah. It starts off with him basically... he doesn't treat his wife and kids well. No. And she wants a divorce from him. Right. And so then the rest of the show is kind of him trying to balance how do I get them back while also being an evil supervillain who can take over the world. Right, that's his goal, is he wants to be able to still do both. He loves his family, he wants his family back, but for the majority of the show, he is also pursuing world domination. Yeah. And so what I was driving at is I know that's the focus point of the show, but I really did not like any of the villains. I thought like Austin and also the weird thing that he was working for, I didn't like. I didn't care for, the Anomaly character every time he showed up. The only time that I did like that, my favorite episode in the show was the robot deathmatch episode. Like that, that was my favorite episode of the show where I actually felt like I was enjoying what I was watching. And there were definitely some funny moments as like they were killing off characters, and you're like, wait, is that a robot or not? Like, so that was funny. I enjoyed that. And I think Lou is the son, and like how he just like axed himself in the head. I was laughing.
He just picked it up and dropped it in his own head. Everyone's like, oh my god, he killed himself. And it's like, oh, it's a robot. It's okay. That one was probably the best one. And you bring out what's the villain's name? He's such a minor one.
Oh yeah, I mean he was like the clown or something like that, but that's not what they call him.
No, yeah, I can't remember. I know his name too, and because I thought it was Puppet Master at first. I was like, no, it's not Puppet. They call him something else.
Yeah,
I can't remember now. But he was funny, and then it was all weird. I like that. That whole part was funny to me, and I did like when he met when he goes to the bar with No Name. And he meets all the C-list villains and Armadillo.
I mean, these are F-list villains. Let's be honest. Like a Melter.
We got the guy with the buzzsaws. We've seen him in Daredevil. He came out in there.
Was that the same guy?
Yeah, it's the same villain. Well, it's the same villain.
Okay.
Because he has issues. They screwed up that character so much.
Yeah.
But he was the only one I recognized. And then Armadillo, I was like, okay. And then he's like, I want to go my girl. I'm like, oh my god, you did this to his character. This is no. And then they brought out the monkey guy, which was just so stupid.
Yeah. I mean, I liked it was another one of those things where they set up some comedic things and I just felt like I wasn't invested in the comedy with all of those characters. And I don't have the background of knowing all of them.
I only knew 2 of them. That was it. I recognized them. That was maybe 3.
But I mean, there's definitely Wonder Man shows up in this.
Nathan Fillion. We got Nathan Fillion as Wonder Man.
Yeah, so that was kind of fun to see him show up and the way that all played out.
That was cute. Yeah,
I kind of enjoyed that, but
I did too. I mean, like you said, it's basically a show about a businessman who's put business first all his life. And now he's trying to figure out how to put family first and still run his business. Yeah. And you were right. That's the premise of the show. So if you like those kind of shows, you'll get that. And just add Marvel humor to it. And Seth Green. Yeah. And that sums it up. So it's I don't know though. Overall, I just,
Yeah, it was.
And I don't know.
It was one of those shows where I feel like if you're enjoying it, it probably gets better the longer you watch it. And if you're not enjoying it, it's almost like you're having to, you're sitting there going, and so by the end of the show, and especially the way it ended, which, again, we've kind of danced around spoilers, but the heavy spoiler at the end of the show is just the way it ends, which is a major cliffhanger.
It is.
Where it ends with M.O.D.O.K's family all in danger of being killed, and he is being told that the only way for him to achieve world domination is for them to be killed and for his grief of their death to be what drives him to take over the world.
Which we find out from Anomaly, who's been fighting him a little bit, and he's like, no, I've really been trying to help you this whole time. You need to see that your family's holding you back from world domination.
Right, and so it's kind of and then we see the future M.O.D.O.K, who has achieved world domination, also has a version of Anomaly, who he has been torturing and trying to basically resolve his issue where now he has achieved world domination and he wants the family. So you have two versions of M.O.D.O.K, one who has the family but doesn't have world domination, and the other who has world domination but doesn't have the family, and they're both saying we want both things. Yeah. And neither one of them knows how to get there, and then the show ends. And so that's literally just I was like, wait, what?
See, and that's what I was trying to figure out. Is it 2 different ones, or is it the future of the present one? Did he let his family die?
We don't know.
Yeah. My thought was he did let his family die. Because basically the way it ends, they're all in stasis lot. There's a missile about to hit him, kill them all. Yeah. And he sidestepped and let the missile kill him. And we fast forward to the future, where I did like the Iron Man throne. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
So he has a Game of Thrones Iron Man.
Yeah, they call it the Iron Throne. Yeah, and then
literally
when he gets up off of it, Iron Man's suit is just there.
I love that. I thought was funny. That little random joke. But yeah,
he walks through a hallway where he's got Captain America's shield and Thor's hammer.
Infinity Gauntlet was in there.
Yeah, all that stuff. I will go back. One other sequence I found funny was in that final episode where he was kind of the Anomaly was taking him through all the times he failed, and you see him getting killed by the various Avengers. First he gets killed by Iron Man, and then Captain America, and then Thor, and then Black Widow, and then Hawkeye, and he's like, Hawkeye kills me? And it was one more, let's kick Hawkeye while he's down. I enjoyed that joke.
That was you could see, and then the last little arrow at him.
Yeah, he gets a few arrows in him, and he's like, what?
That was funny. I loved it.
Yeah, it was good.
But yeah, I I don't know. You get left with such a huge cliffhanger, and I don't know if they're doing a season 2.
I mean, clearly they're setting up that they want to do a season 2.
Yeah, but did you do good enough? I mean, this was a complete shot in the dark, really, for Hulu, for Marvel, for everything, because it's not canon. It's not tied to anything in the Marvel universe.
This is not the MCU. This is completely separate.
So it's like I don't know, and I don't know if I want to enjoy another season of this. Now, we both watched it differently. I binged it literally in one day. You took a few days to do it, or a couple weeks or so.
It took me about 4 or 5 days to get through all of it. Actually, I initially thought there were only 8 episodes.
Yeah.
And so, like, the 8th episode, I think, is the one where it's like the robot families. And so I was watching that, and I was like, wow, this is taking a long time. We still got to wrap up all the storyline with his work stuff and everything. Yeah. And then it was like it ended, and I was like, wait, are there more than 8 episodes? Yeah, there were 2 more. I was like, oh, man.
Yeah. And I don't know. And then, like, at the end of it, so I'm going to go into spoilers. They end up selling AIM to Iron Man, and Wonder Man and all of them have a little joke off on them.
Right.
And then they open up AIM 2. And it's basically Monica, M.O.D.O.K, and Gary's boyfriend. And that's it.
Which that was the twist for Monica that I didn't understand. Like, they didn't set up at all that she would go work with M.O.D.O.K again.
Yeah.
Like, clearly she has a rivalry with him.
Right. And,
like, wants credit for things, and, like, feels like he's kind of pushed her to the side historically. And so he basically, without having any sort of conversation with her, gives her a business card that says, like, AIM 2 and you're going to be the scientist supreme. Yeah. And she immediately was like, oh yeah, I'm on board.
Yeah.
And it was like, it felt very weird.
It was, because again, like, there's no character progression on that. We have seen them help each other here and there, but she was helping herself really while she helped him. And then, like, we don't go back to, like, what's the evil thing about all of this? I mean, then we get her being crazy, thinking M.O.D.O.K trying to do something to her the whole time. And so I did like the part where she spinal tapped her daughter to make sure she wasn't M.O.D.O.K. I was like, are you doing, really? And then she takes something else with that. Then she injects her to make her small, to make sure that M.O.D.O.K's inside.
Hidden particles. Yeah.
Yes. It's like that part, I was like, okay, but she was so paranoid. And then, like you said, the next scene we see after all these issues where, she even torments Gary and almost kills him.
Yeah, he has to, like, after getting one arm blown off, he, like, chews off his other hand.
I'm like, oh my God.
Which they didn't really bring back.
So. No, he has a robot hand now.
Okay, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, when he grabs the burger, it's a robot hand. I was like, but you gave him a robot hand, but he's still missing his arm. His other arm's still gone.
I mean, like, he's got to have at least one.
Oh my God, poor Gary. Like, I like Gary.
I like how early in the season he was like, "Can you reattach my arm?" And like by the next episode, it's like we're not even trying anymore because clearly that's not happening.
I don't know. They take it, they put a bomb on it, and throw it at the creature on his arm. So they literally just blow up the rest of his arm. So Gary. It's like poor Gary. Like, he was the comic relief, and he did his job for me.
Yeah, I liked
what he was. So, but again, like, yeah, it's just, there's nothing to say, why are we doing this? We don't show that she still has that connection. She obviously still didn't like M.O.D.O.K. She still didn't want to be around M.O.D.O.K. And then, like you said, it's like, okay, here you go. Okay, I'll sell my shares, so now Iron Man's in control. He's majority shareholder, and we saved the world, yay! It just felt like they almost kind of wrote themselves into a corner, and they only had so many episodes, and now they're in a corner. They're like, well, how do we wrap this up? Okay, well, she's gonna sell her shares. Well, why? Well, she's gonna do it.
Because.
Yeah, because she's gonna go be the scientist supreme, and he's gonna be the science supreme.
Right.
But, like, I don't know. I mean, overall, I just, you first. Overall, what did you think?
Overall, I think it was. It's certainly, if you like this type of humor, I think this is probably a really solid show, especially if you're a superhero fan.
Yeah.
Like, it's got plenty of, nods to various superhero characters and things like that. I mean, they visit Asgard at one point. They several times go to Avengers Tower. There's lots of different characters, kind of sprinkled through. So if you're big into Marvel or big into superheroes and you also like this type of humor, I think you'll probably enjoy the show. For me, I'm, a huge MCU junkie. I love superhero stuff. And the humor didn't really do it for me. There were definitely, there were points in every episode where I laughed. So I'm not going to say that, like, it never worked. But it is one of those types of comedies that just, like, hits you over the head with jokes.
Yeah.
And so I was enjoying, like, 1 out of every 5 jokes.
Yeah.
And so that, that ratio for me is not enough where I want to keep watching another season of the show. If it comes out, I might give another couple of episodes a try just to see if it's changed at all. But yeah, this was a show where I think about halfway through, I kind of went like, I think I'm only going to finish this because we're going to talk about it. Like, it wasn't something where I was like, I really want to keep watching this show. So for me, it didn't do it for me. It didn't hit my funny bone, but I think that's just because of the comedic sensibilities. It wasn't because it's poorly made or because, the show itself kind of failed in any ways. I think there were some narrative, issues. But at the end of the day, you can get past those if you're enjoying the ride. And for me, I just, the jokes weren't hitting often enough for me to really enjoy the show. Same.
You kind of hit on the dot, I think, because I'm the same way. I binged it, and it was literally like the first 4 episodes I checked out. And I was like, I'm not liking this. Like you said, there's, excuse me, there's a few parts here and there where it's like, oh, this is funny. Oh, never mind. Like you said, the next 4 jokes are really missing me, and I'm going to do this now. So I think you're right. I think if you like Robot Chicken, if you still like Family Guy, you're going to love this one. If you like Seth Green's humor in general, you're going to like this because it's a lot of Seth Green's humor.
Yeah.
And I normally like his humor. I just didn't care for a lot of the delivery on this part. So I don't know. Maybe it's because other people are involved or, what they're trying to do with it. I agree. Like, if you want to see some really C-list people and the characters, you're going to get some random ones. It's like, oh, hey, this guy's in here. It was okay, but overall I kind of agree. I think if season 2 comes out, I don't think I'm going to watch it. Or like you said, I may see if I can get a couple answers from the first couple episodes and maybe be done with it. I don't think I'll return to this one.
Yeah.
And again, not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just not my cup of tea. And I don't know.
It's not going to be for everyone.
No. And comedies are like that, I think. Comedies are going to be for a certain niche, and these are the people that we're going to hit, and we hit those people. And I can tell you if you like those things, because maybe 10 years ago I would have loved this show, but now I don't. I think that's the best way to put it.
I feel the same way. Like, I think that this show has kind of just hit me a little bit too late.
Yeah, exactly.
Where it's like maybe, I really would have enjoyed this, a decade ago when I was, watching Family Guy every night on reruns on TBS or, like whatever. Like, I don't watch that stuff anymore. And so it felt very jarring. It felt like I was being transported back in time.
Yeah.
Like to these types of jokes where I'm like, oh, I don't watch stuff like that anymore.
Exactly.
And so, it just, again, I think that there is going to be a lot of people that really love this show.
Oh, yeah. I think so.
And I think that there's also going to be a lot of people that this just isn't for them.
Yeah.
It is violent. It does have, obviously it's stop motion, but there's a lot of, blood.
A lot of blood, yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's, like, a lot of swearing. I guess I didn't really notice. I don't notice it anymore.
I don't either.
So I'm not sure how much it seems like a show that had a lot of it.
It probably did. We just didn't notice.
Yeah. So it's not really a kids show.
No. Don't let your kids watch it.
Please it depends on how old they are. I think that if you got like a tween or a teen, like they might be able to watch this and enjoy it. Watch the first couple episodes yourself and then make that choice for yourself.
That's true.
Because I think that there's nothing that happens in the later episodes that isn't also kind of in the earlier episodes.
That's true. So. Yeah, first couple episodes kind of sets the bar of that humor.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
But those are kind of our thoughts. Neither one of us loved it. I don't think either one of us hated it. It was just more kind of like, okay, it's done, and we'll move on.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
We're looking forward to Loki.
Yeah, we're just waiting for Loki now.
Yee.
So, and Black Widow, and everything else.
Well, Loki first.
Right? On your left, everything's passing.
Yeah,
Black Widow.
And stay tuned for other reviews. Hopefully, I'm trying to convince him to do Bad Batch with me. So
I will, and I couldn't get him to do Army of the Dead, so I will be doing that one later, which we'll find out how I felt about that. If that's not up yet, or if it is, I don't know when I upload these, so that'll be up there somewhere. But on that note, guys, like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you see all of our videos. And on that note, that's Robert. I'm Aaron, and this is Get Your Geek On. And stay geeky, guys.
Bye.